Carlos Alcaraz gets the worst possible draw in the Indian Wells quarterfinals. After having fun and taking revenge against Tiafoe in the Puerto Rico exhibition, Spanish player Carlos Alcaraz is already focused on Indian Wells, a title he has won in the last 2 editions. The Mercian will debut in Indian Wells against either Frenchman Quentin Elise or a player from the qualifiers. The Californian desert already has its draws set with some very interesting matchups. With Sinner's absence and the tournament surface change to a lake-old court, faster and with a lower bounce, Indian Wells presents a balanced edition, although the main candidate to lift the trophy once again appears to be Carlos Alcaraz. His draw, at first glance, won't be easy. The draw determined that his first match will be against the winner of the match between Quentin Elise, who recently reached the semifinals in Dubai, and a qualifier. If everything goes as expected, Denis Shapovalov would be his second opponent, while in the round of 16, he could face Sebastian Korda or Grigor Dimitrov. Bombshell for the hypothetical quarterfinals. The biggest challenge would come next, in a potential quarterfinal that would be a final in advance, Novak Djokovic. The same scenario as in Australia earlier this year repeats itself, with a high-stakes clash between the Mercian and the Serbian on the horizon. Djokovic, on his debut, would first have to get past Nick Kyrgios if the Australian overcomes a qualifier. If Alcaraz defeats Djokovic, he could face Taylor Fritz, Ben Shelton, or Andrei Rublev in a possible semi-final. Based on ranking logic, the final could see Alexander Zverev waiting, as he is the top seed following Jannik Sinner's absence, alongside contenders such as Stefanos Tsitsipas, Dubai champion, Casper Ruud, or Daniil Medvedev. German player Alexander Zverev will start the tournament as the top seed and could potentially face Greek Stefanos Tsitsipas in the quarterfinals. Casper Ruud and Daniil Medvedev are also set for a possible quarterfinal clash, while Spanish player Davidovich, for his part, will play the first round against Mackenzie McDonald before getting the chance to face Djokovic. With the draw already set for the first Masters 1000 of the season, Carlos Alcaraz will look to make history and achieve his first three-peat at Indian Wells, after being crowned champion in 2023 and 2024. To do so, he will have to navigate a tough path that could lead him to a blockbuster quarterfinal against Novak Djokovic. The record that only Federer and Djokovic have achieved, which Alcaraz could match at Indian Wells. The Spaniard seeks his place in the history of the Indian Wells Masters 1000. Carlos Alcaraz has a unique opportunity at Indian Wells 2025, to join an exclusive club that only includes Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic. If he manages to win the title for the third consecutive year, he will match a feat that, until now, has been exclusive to the Swiss and Serbian legends. Federer and Djokovic, the kings of Indian Wells. Since the tournament's inception in 1974, only Federer, 2004 to 2006, and Djokovic, 2014 to 2016, have won Indian Wells 3 times in a row. The Swiss achieved this by defeating Tim Henman, Lleyton Hewitt, and James Blake in the finals. Meanwhile, the Serbian did it by winning 2 finals against Federer and 1 against Milos Raonic. Carlos Alcaraz has made it clear that Indian Wells has become one of his favorite hunting grounds. At just 20 years old, the Spaniard has already secured 2 consecutive titles in the Californian desert, winning both finals against a player of Daniil Medvedev's caliber, a former world number 1 and one of the most consistent players on the ATP Tour. In 2023, Alcaraz displayed an exceptional level of play, defeating Medvedev without dropping a set and making it clear that his aggression, mobility, and mental toughness were too much for the Russian. In that final, the Mercian lost only 5 games, showcasing absolute dominance. A year later, in 2024, history repeated itself with a similar script, another final against Medvedev and another straight-set victory, though this time, the Russian managed to win a couple more games, totaling 7. Alcaraz's dominance at Indian Wells has been impressive, putting him in a prime position for the 2025 edition. If he secures a 3rd consecutive title, he will not only cement his status as one of the best players on the circuit but also etch his name in the tournament's history as one of its most dominant champions. Despite the fierce competition on the ATP Tour, Alcaraz has proven he has the talent, determination, and mindset needed to continue achieving success and enhance his legacy in world tennis. Djokovic's big advantage in facing Carlos Alcaraz at Indian Wells. The Serbian player will have Andy Murray as his coach for both Indian Wells and Miami. Novak Djokovic is back on the courts, facing a true challenge at Indian Wells as he seeks his 100th career title and the record for most titles at this tournament. The Serbian currently holds 5 Masters 1000 Indian Wells titles, tied with Roger Federer, and is aiming to take one step further to be crowned the ultimate king of the event, but it won't be an easy road. Noel arrives at this competition after an injury forced him to withdraw from the Australian Open and with only one other tournament played in this period, where he suffered an early exit. However, he is confirmed to compete in both Indian Wells and the Miami Masters 1000 this month, with an extra weapon in these events, Andy Murray. Andy Murray will continue as Djokovic's coach. The partnership between Djokovic and Murray, once fierce rivals on the court, as coach and player was a shocking surprise for the tennis world, which now gets to enjoy two of the sport's biggest names in this new chapter together. However, it remains uncertain how long the former British star will continue coaching Noel, making each tournament they compete in together a special moment. For now, Andy Murray will remain Djokovic's coach at least until the Miami Masters 1000, meaning he will be by his side at Indian Wells. This could be a key factor for the world number 7, who faces his toughest match, if he reaches that far, in the quarterfinals, a new showdown against Carlos Alcaraz after their Australian Open battle. Before this potential clash with the Mercian, Noel could face Kyrgios in his debut, Cerundolo or Davidovich in the 3rd round, and a Minor or Hurkacz in the 4th round. Novak Djokovic and Carlos Alcaraz have delivered some of the most thrilling matches in recent years, and Indian Wells 2025 could witness another chapter of this rivalry. The tournament draw has set up the possibility of a quarterfinal clash between the two, a showdown that would feel like a final in advance in the Californian desert. For this matchup to happen, both the Serbian and the Spaniard must overcome their respective challenges in the earlier rounds. Djokovic, always competitive and with his trademark fighting spirit, will have a tough road that could include a potential encounter with Andy Murray, his old friend and rival, who is looking to regain his place in the tennis zone. Although Murray is no longer the dominant player he once was, his experience and skill could test the world number 1 before a potential clash with Alcaraz. Meanwhile, Alcaraz arrives at Indian Wells highly motivated. The Spaniard has already won this tournament twice, in 2023 and 2024, both times defeating Daniil Medvedev in the final without dropping a set. Now, he aims for a 3rd consecutive title, a feat that would help him climb further in the ATP rankings and take advantage of Jannik Sinner's absence to edge closer to the top spot. With his aggressive playing style, court speed, and adaptability against any opponent, Alcaraz is a strong title contender. If the anticipated Djokovic-Alcaraz clash happens, it will be a battle of titans with plenty at stake. Both players have established themselves as dominant forces on the ATP Tour, and this match would not only be a major test of their current form but also a defining moment in their rivalry. For Djokovic, this match represents an opportunity to reaffirm his status as one of the greatest players of all time. At 37 years old, the Serbian remains an imposing figure in men's tennis, with an unmatched ability to rise to the occasion in the biggest moments. His experience, tactical intelligence, and legendary mental toughness have helped him stay at the top despite the emergence of younger stars like Alcaraz. A victory over the Spanish prodigy would send a strong message that Djokovic is still the man to beat, even as the new generation continues to push forward. On the other hand, for Alcaraz, this match would be another crucial step in his journey to becoming the new king of tennis. The 21-year-old has already achieved remarkable milestones, winning Grand Slams and Masters 1000 titles while demonstrating a level of skill and composure beyond his years. A win against Djokovic at Indian Wells, especially in such a high-stakes quarterfinal, would further solidify his reputation as the heir apparent to tennis greatness. Beyond the individual stakes, this potential match would be a gift to tennis fans worldwide. Their previous encounters have been thrilling battles, showcasing the contrast between Djokovic's precise, calculated approach and Alcaraz's explosive, fearless shot-making. Indian Wells 2025 could provide another unforgettable chapter in this growing rivalry, with both players hungry for victory and determined to prove they are the best in the world.